My name is Burcu, and I am from High Studios. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, my name is Jürgen, and also from my side, a very warm welcome.
So our talk today is about the hybrid studio, but before we get into explaining what the hybrid studio is, let me take you on a little journey on how our agency works with our clients. We have a 27-year history in creating visual content for promotion purposes. And in the past, creating this content was quite easy. If you were our client, you would come, you would brief a photographer, and you would get an image. And that image you could use for a really long time. Later, you realize, though, that you might need a product feature update here or there. And that would mean a lot of Photoshop. And that trend for change continued. And you would maybe realize, well, that product would change, or you would need to create a product that hasn't been seen yet, and you want to show that in your promotional materials, or you want to show it in different media, and it only made sense then to use CGI. And CGI was quite affordable, so you could actually make it look quite photorealistic. Then later, we realized, well, we can't just show that product alone. It doesn't sell itself. We need to create a whole user experience around that product. And that's where the green screen came in. We use the green screen on a lot of our photo shoots, and the products are embedded into that scene. And later, when our clients were quite happy, 1 week later they would see it composed, and they would say, well, actually, I would like to see that photo come in more from the left, or I would like to see the product more from the right. And then a decision had to be made, either to make that compromise or to take time and money to make those changes. Now, if you could avoid doing all that, you would start pre-visualizing everything. And the risk in pre-visualizing everything would mean that you'd have images that could be staged, that could be generic, or very predictable. So we wanted to work on this problem. We wanted to think, how can we take those staged images and make them more spontaneous? How can we take the generic and make them more distinctive? And how can we take those predictable ones and create unseen images?
Yeah, this is why we developed the Hybrid Studio. In the Hybrid Studio, we merge the virtual world, the real world, in real time, in photography and in video. So, however, this merger does only make sense if everyone on set can work as he is used to work. Because the cameraman needs to move with his camera and search for the right angle, and the video, the photographer as well. The models also need to be orientated. They need to know what to do in front of a green screen. And this was really the biggest challenge for us, to get this really high degree of immersion into that process that we've got in the Hybrid Studio. So what do we use the Hybrid Studio for? We use it for clients that have really big settings, that have products that are large or heavy or almost untransportable, or sometimes also for products that do not even exist yet. In this case, for example, we had shooting with medical devices that were 3 devices in 3 rooms. And now imagine you had to build this set in a studio with a booth builder. And for video, these devices must be able to move, so you have also to implement the whole technology and so on. So the transport costs, that would be really a lot of money, so why not do that in CGI and save this money?
What else do we use it for? For creating memorable images, ones that have dramatic backdrops, like we did here working with London fashion photographer Benjamin Kaufman. He came with his own vision for what he wanted his unique locations to look like. Or we use it for creating very unique business portraits. ones that will say something, an image about the person or the company. Or for creating an interaction between a human, a model, and virtual elements, elements that don't exist as we did in these cases. So now we've taken a look at what we've done it, what we used it for. Let's take a quick look inside the studio, what it's all about. At first glance, it doesn't seem radically different or spectacular even. So we do use a green screen and we do use a tracking system. However, the changes that we've made versus the traditional green screen production are quite radical.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. The first, I think, major change is the workflow. Until now, this is a normal workflow. You've got your steps in the production, one follows the other, and they all together add up to a total amount of time that you need for a production. What we do in the Hybrid Studio, you can see it there, we combine the photo and film shoot, the keying, the tracking, and the composing in one step. That, of course, saves time, and we are able to get a lot of more shoots out of one shooting day compared to a traditional workflow. Then the next difference is that we are able, in photography and in video, to pick the best of 2 worlds, the best of the virtual world and the traditional production world. So until now, you could choose either to shoot on location, then, of course, it's authentic, but it's not really flexible in terms of moving walls or adding a window or whatever. You could also produce everything in full CG, also the humans and so on. But unless you haven't got really Hollywood budgets, these humans slightly might look not really natural, not really authentic. And then, of course, you can also use the green screen with real people, with real models, actors. This, again, is not so easy because when they are in front of a green screen without having any control about what they are doing and so on, it's hard for them to have really a natural facial expression or the gesture. So this is also difficult. So this is why we brought in the Hybrid Studio. You can see it, we have all these marks because we can work with the models. I can talk to them as a photographer. I can work for that one decisive moment, for sensuality, for authenticity. I can work with the models as I do in a real set, but still, on the push of a click of a mouse, I can change location, I can change the product, I can change the time of the day, I can skip time of the days, and when the client is on set in the studio, he also can say, okay, that's a good one, stop here, next one. So that's a really fast way to work and a very safe way to work. The precision is pretty high. We work on a... let this one. So I start with the quality. The quality is also pretty high because we shoot at a 100 megapixel camera. We use the XF100 by Phase 1, which we implemented in that system. So we can really get a big resolution result. And also the tracking in the video is very precise. We shoot at a sub-pixel level. That means that in the post-production, you don't have to retrack everything, because once it's tracked, it's fine. So if you have a look at the contact points of the models with the virtual world, right now with the hand, okay, that's all green. And then again, when the nurse pushes the button, here we are. So this is all pretty precise, and I showed this one to our clients, and the question was, okay, and what is the sense of this video? And I said, no, it's not a sense of the video, it's just a demonstration of how it works. So that was pretty nice to hear. Okay, and last but not least, we found out that it's very important for the actors and for the models that they have a counterpart, a physical counterpart in the virtual world. So we involved a robot that collaborates with the models. And we can do that in two ways. Either the model moves the robot, and the robot again defines the virtual environment. Or the other way around, we have predetermined movements, and the robot guides the model. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the result of that video because it's still an ongoing process, and I can't show it here.
Okay, so those are the 4 major changes. Let's take a look at the steps of a hybrid production. In the pre-production phase, it's actually quite similar to a green screen production. You still have to define the space, the style, the look and feel. You have to make a decision, do I buy the CG data or produce it myself? You have to get the approval of the locations, the materials, etc. That stays the same. Also, the post-production is quite similar. We do our previewing in high definition. Later, we have to compose those images, so that also stays the same. But what's really different is how we do the production. So here are a few images from our studio showing the equipment, our clients on set, our photographer using the preview, and here's a split screen showing what the reality of the studio looks like versus the preview.
Okay, I think we need to speed up a little bit because we're late.
We're late.
3
Okay.
minutes left.
So
Do we?
let's get into a little bit
okay.
about what's in it for our users. What's in it for our users?
Yeah. Okay. First thing is efficiency, because you've seen that big production earlier. Can we get the next picture, please? Mm-hmm. Here we are. This one. We calculated this one together with a client. And yeah, the result was that the traditional production was about 100% of the costs, and the hybrid production was about 65% of the costs. So only by just not having the transportation, not having the implementation and everything, the whole stuff thing was not necessary in that production. And I mean, if you have got 3 rooms that you have to set up, it really makes a difference. Okay, then the authentic results. I think that's really new, that you have photography and that you have video. And still, you can use every advantage that CGI provides. So this is, I would say, a very good way to get authentic results and to be really natural with your picture language. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you say that so in English.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can. So also the value of creating creative results, so creativity. I'm not a photographer like Jürgen is, so I asked our photographer, who's worked quite frequently in the hybrid studio, I asked him, what is the main difference for you working in the hybrid studio versus working in the traditional green screen? And he said, well, I don't have to compromise. I thought that was really key, because what he was referring to is saying, do I have to go back and look at the shots that I thought were good and make some compromises there, make some changes, or ask the customer to take more time and more budget? Or can I right away see in real time that the image is good and offer a wide selection of choices to our customer? So that, I thought, was really bringing it to the point. So we're out of time, but we did want to show you one last thing at the end of our talk. We've shown you a lot of images that are from our studio in Erlangen, but we did a demonstration in our parking lot to show that we could actually take a physical setting and put virtual elements in that setting. We've actually also taken the hybrid studio to locations that are not on our premises, so it's able to go on tour, so to speak. And if you have any more questions about it or would like to discuss it further, we're here for the next couple of days and would love to talk to you. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you.